CAPM Project Management Key Concept. Audio Second Set Continue. Section 7. Video. Predictive Project Management. Predictive project management, also known as the waterfall model, is a widely recognized approach to managing projects. In this topic, we're going to discuss characteristics of predictive project management. Now, while agile methodologies have gained popularity for their flexibility, predictive project management is rooted in traditional project management practices, and it's often preferred for projects with clearly defined goals, stable requirements, and low uncertainty. Predictive project management divides a project into distinct sequential phases, each building upon the previous one. Now, these phases typically include initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and closure, with each phase completed before moving on to the next. The waterfall model follows a linear progression with little room for iteration or change once a phase has been completed. This approach assumes that project requirements are well defined and will not change significantly during the project's life cycle. Predictive project management is characterized by a structured and sequential approach to project management. Project begins with a comprehensive gathering of requirements. Stakeholders' needs and expectations are identified and project objectives are defined in detail, and this phase sets the foundation for the entire project. After gathering requirements, the project moves into the design phase. Now here the project team creates detailed plans, blueprints, or specifications for the project's components. This phase aims to outline how the project will fulfill the identified requirements, and once the design is complete and approved, the project transitions to the implementation phase. This involves the actual construction or development of the project components, whether it's software, hardware, or a physical product. After implementation, rigorous testing is conducted to ensure that the project meets the specified requirements and functions correctly. Any issues or defects are identified, documented, and addressed. With successful testing and approval, the project is ready for delivery to the end users or stakeholders, and this phase involves deploying the project's final version, whether it's a software release, a product launch, or the completion of a construction project. Now, even after delivery, predicted project management includes a maintenance phase. This phase focuses on providing ongoing support, updates, and necessary fixes to ensure that the project continues to function smoothly and meet the needs of the stakeholders. Defining clear and precise goals is a fundamental aspect of predictive project management. Establishing project goals at the outset is like laying a strong foundation for a building. It provides a clear sense of direction and purpose. Align the efforts of the project team and stakeholders right from the start. Well-defined goals offer clarity about what the project aims to achieve. They specify the desired outcomes, scope, and objectives, helping to avoid misunderstandings or misalignments later in the project. In predictive project management, where the focus is on a structured sequential approach, well-defined goals act as a North Star, guiding every phase from planning through implementation to successful completion. They help ensure that everyone involved understands what the project aims to achieve and why, ultimately increasing the likelihood of project success. The information approach in predictive project management places a high emphasis on maintaining a constant and easily accessible flow of information throughout the project's life cycle. Information is not a one-time thing, it's a continuous process. It's essential at every phase, from initiation all the way through to closure. This ensures that stakeholders have the right information when they need it. In fact, by emphasizing easily accessible information, project managers can make informed decisions quickly. This agility is especially crucial when unexpected issues or changes come up. Regular information updates allow for effective tracking of project progress, better risk assessment and management, and better informed stakeholder communications. Change management can be considerable challenges within predictive project management. This approach is characterized by its structured, sequential nature, which can make it less adaptable to unexpected changes. Predictive project management relies on comprehensive planning and well-defined requirements, and there's minimal tolerance for unexpected changes once the project is underway. Deviating from the initial plan can disrupt the carefully orchestrated sequence of tasks and impact the project's timeline and budget. Now, because of the limited flexibility in accommodating changes, predictive projects carry an increased risk of not meeting their objectives if unforeseen issues or shifts in requirements come up. Any modifications made mid-project can introduce uncertainty, potentially leading to delays or additional costs. Another significant challenge in predictive project management is effectively involving the client or stakeholders. Predictive project management often prioritizes structured internal processes and procedures, and this focus can sometimes limit the extent to which clients or external stakeholders are actively engaged in the project's development. In this approach, clients or stakeholder feedback is typically sought out at the beginning and end of the project, with limited interaction during the interim stages. This can result in a lack of alignment between the project's progress and the evolving needs or expectations of the client. Predictive projects may provide stakeholders with infrequent updates, which can lead to a lack of transparency and understanding regarding the project status. This limited communication can hinder collaboration and responsiveness to changing circumstances. And finally, testing in predictive project management can be a significant challenge too, and several factors contribute to this challenge. For example, testing is often scheduled towards the later stages of the project after significant development has already taken place, and this can lead to the discovery of issues and defects when it's more costly and time-consuming to address them. Delaying testing until the end of the project can increase the risk of identifying critical problems when it's too late to make substantial changes, and this can jeopardize project success and lead to budget overruns. And lastly, predictive project management's sequential nature means that changes are less accommodated once the project reaches the testing phase. So any alterations may require revisiting earlier phases, which can then disrupt the project's timeline and budget. Section 8, Video. Adaptive Project Management. In this topic, we're going to discuss characteristics of adaptive project management. Adaptive project management is an approach that places a strong emphasis on continuous improvement throughout the project's life cycle. Now, unlike predictive project management methods, which follow a structured and sequential path, adaptive approaches recognize the dynamic and evolving nature of many projects. A key characteristic of adaptive project management is its welcoming attitude towards change. This approach recognizes that change can be a valuable asset rather than a hindrance, and it actively integrates it into the project processes. Adaptive project management places a strong emphasis on aligning the project with customer needs. It acknowledges that customer requirements can evolve over time and welcomes changes that address these evolving needs, and that results in a product or service that better fits the customer's evolving expectations. In dynamic industries where technological advancements and market shifts are frequent, adaptive project management is super valuable. It allows projects to pivot and adapt to industry demands, ensuring that the final deliverable remains relevant and competitive, and not just strictly adhering to whatever was decided at the beginning of the project. An adaptive approach aligns projects with the broader organizational strategy. When organizational goals shift or new opportunities arise, adaptive project management enables projects to adjust their course accordingly. So as you can tell, flexibility is a fundamental characteristic of adaptive project management, and so it plays a super important role in the success of projects. Adaptive project management embraces change and is designed to accommodate it seamlessly. Now, whether it's shifting project requirements or unexpected challenges or even evolving stakeholder needs, this approach is agile and responsive, and in fact, you'll note the term agile. This is where processes like Agile or Scrum or XP come into play. In adaptive project management, quick response to change is a priority. The project team is trained to assess, adapt, and implement changes quickly, and this reduces the potential for delays and ensures that the project stays on track. A flexible approach is highly dependent on a supportive project team, so team members are actually encouraged to collaborate and share insights, and even offer solutions which promotes and encourages an environment where adaptability is a collective effort. Adaptive project management also recognizes that the ultimate project success is measured by how well it satisfies the customer, so there is a client focus there. The approach prioritizes regular engagement with the client, understanding their evolving requirements, and ensuring that the project's outcome aligns with their goals. Obtaining and incorporating customer feedback is integral, and the focus on the client extends beyond just project delivery. Adaptive approaches aim for continuous improvement by seeking input from the client even after the project is completed. That helps to gather valuable insights for future endeavors. And finally, adaptive project management is inherently data-centric. It relies on data-driven insights and information to guide decision-making and project progress. Adaptive project management places great importance on having the right resources available when they're needed. Data is utilized to assess resource availability, allocate them efficiently, and ensure that the project team has access to the necessary tools, people, and materials. Data is collected and analyzed continuously throughout the project's life cycle. This provides real-time visibility into project performance, enabling timely identification of issues, bottlenecks, or deviations from the plan. And lastly, adaptive project management relies on robust reporting mechanisms to disseminate critical information to stakeholders. These reports provide a comprehensive view of project status, progress, and any potential risks, facilitating informed decision-making. Section 9. Video. Key differences in predictive and adaptive project management. In this topic, we're going to discuss key differences between predictive and adaptive project management. Predictive project management adheres to a sequential and linear working model, demanding the completion of each project phase before advancing to the subsequent phase. In contrast, adaptive project management promotes a more concurrent approach, allowing teams to work simultaneously on multiple project phases. This fundamental difference in workflow underlines the suitability of each methodology for different project scenarios. When comparing the timelines of predictive and adaptive project management, a significant distinction comes up. In predictive project management, timelines are typically more fixed and rigid. The project plan is meticulously crafted at the outset with clearly defined phases and milestones. Once the plan is set, any changes to the timeline can be challenging to accommodate. This approach is well suited for projects with stable requirements where the scope is well understood and deviations from the plan are limited. In contrast, adaptive project management offers greater flexibility in timelines. This approach acknowledges the dynamic nature of many projects and embraces change. Timelines in adaptive management are more responsive to evolving requirements, stakeholder feedback, and unexpected challenges. Iterative cycles and continuous adjustment allow for a more adaptable approach, making it suitable for projects in volatile or uncertain environments. Client involvement in project management approaches varies significantly between predictive and adaptive methodologies. In the predictive approach, client involvement is often limited, especially after the initial project planning phase. The project plan is typically established at the beginning, and there's minimal interaction with clients throughout the execution stages. Clients are typically engaged during the project's initiation to define requirements, but may have limited input as the project actually progresses, and this approach is suitable for projects where requirements are stable and well defined from the outset. Now, in contrast, adaptive project management places a strong focus on client involvement throughout the project's life cycle. Clients are considered active stakeholders, and their needs and preferences are continuously assessed and integrated into the project's development. Regular feedback loops and iterative cycles allow clients to influence project direction and ensure alignment with evolving requirements. This client-centric approach is particularly valuable when project objectives may change or when the client's input is critical to project success. Flexibility in project management approaches differs significantly between the two types as well. In predictive project management, flexibility is relatively limited. The approach relies on a well-defined project plan crafted at the outset, and deviations from this plan can be challenging to accommodate. Changes are typically discouraged once the project is started, and alterations may necessitate revisiting earlier phases, potentially causing delays and cost overruns. Now, this approach is most suitable for projects with stable requirements and a well-understood scope. In contrast, flexibility is integral in adaptive project management. This approach actively embraces change and is designed to respond quickly and effectively to evolving requirements, stakeholder feedback, and unforeseen challenges. It allows for adjustments and adaptations throughout the project's life cycle, often employing iterative cycles to make continuous improvements. Adaptive project management excels in dynamic or uncertain environments where changes are frequent, making it a preferred choice for projects that demand flexibility. Budget management varies significantly between predictive and adaptive project management too. In predictive project management, budgets are typically fixed and closely tied to the initial project plan. Detailed cost estimates are established at the project's outset, and any significant changes or overruns are generally discouraged. The fixed budget is based on the assumption that project requirements will remain stable and deviations from the budget can be challenging to accommodate. This approach is best suited for projects with well-defined scopes and minimal uncertainty. In adaptive project management, budgets tend to be more flexible. This approach acknowledges that project requirements may evolve, and the budget is adjusted continuously to accommodate those changes as they come up. It embraces a more iterative and responsive financial management approach, allowing for reallocation of resources to address shifting priorities or unforeseen challenges. This flexibility makes adaptive management suitable for projects in dynamic or rapidly changing environments. And finally, when deciding between predictive or adaptive project management approaches, several key factors should be carefully considered. First, you assess the stability of project requirements. In predictive management, where requirements are well defined and unlikely to change significantly, a structured plan may be suitable. In contrast, adaptive management is more fitting when requirements are subject to change or evolution. You should also evaluate the level of stakeholder involvement required. If clients or stakeholders need active participation and regular feedback, then adaptive management allows for continuous engagement throughout the project, whereas predictive management often limits stakeholder involvement after that initial planning phase. Next, consider the nature of the expected outcomes. Predictive management is effective for projects with clearly defined and predictable outcomes. Adaptive management is preferable when outcomes may evolve, necessitating flexibility and iterative development. And lastly, examine time and budget constraints. Predictive management offers budget certainty and requires thorough planning, while adaptive management allows for budget flexibility and rapid response to change, potentially impacting project timelines. Now, ultimately, the choice between predictive and adaptive project management hinges on the specific project's complexity, level of uncertainty, and the organization's preferences and goals. Tailoring the approach to align with these factors increases the likelihood of successful project delivery. Section 10, Video. Hybrid Project Management. You may have heard of something called hybrid project management. Hybrid project management promotes agility while maintaining essential structure and control, ensuring that projects stay on track even as they adapt to changing circumstances. It's an increasingly popular approach in today's diverse and dynamic project environments. So in this topic, we're going to discuss key characteristics of hybrid project management. Hybrid project management serves several essential purposes. Hybrid approaches excel at achieving rapid project delivery while remaining adaptable to evolving circumstances. Basically, by incorporating both predictive and adaptive elements, teams can work efficiently on project tasks and respond quickly to changing factors. This agility ensures that project timelines are met even in the face of uncertainties or shifting requirements. Additionally, by involving clients throughout the project, seeking their input and prioritizing their evolving needs, hybrid approaches keep the client at the center of the project, and this client-centric approach ensures that the final deliverables are closely tied with the client's expectations and business objectives, promoting positive client relationships. Now, despite its adaptability, hybrid project management does not sacrifice the benefits of clear planning and structure. It integrates predictive elements like detailed project plans, milestones, and defined roles and responsibilities. And this structured foundation provides a roadmap for the project's execution and maintains order, ensuring that the project remains on track and within budget. Hybrid project management offers several key benefits that contribute to project success. Hybrid approaches blend the predictability of traditional project management with the adaptability of agile methodologies. This balance helps teams stick to budgets and timelines more effectively. Detailed planning and monitoring control costs and schedules. While agile practices enable rapid responses to potential delays or scope changes, hybrid project management encourages a culture of continuous improvement. In fact, by incorporating feedback loops and iterative development, teams can identify and address issues early in the project. This proactive approach enhances project quality and efficiency over time. Hybrid approaches also recognize that every organization has a unique culture and way of working. They allow project managers to tailor methodologies to fit the organization's culture, ensuring smoother adoption and higher team morale. This consideration of culture promotes better collaboration and project outcomes. Hybrid project management empowers team members by involving them in decision-making and problem-solving. This engagement fosters a sense of ownership and motivation among team members, leading to increased productivity and better results. Basically, by combining the best of both worlds, predictive and adaptive approaches, hybrid project management encourages creative problem solving and innovation. Teams can explore new ideas and approaches within a structured framework, leading to unique and innovative project outcomes. Hybrid project management involves careful consideration that take into account various factors to ensure its effectiveness. First, the size of the organization plays a crucial role in choosing a hybrid approach. Larger organizations often deal with complex projects that benefit from a mix of predictive and adaptive practices. Smaller organizations may lean more towards agile methods due to their flexibility, so it's essential to tailor the hybrid approach to fit the organization's scale and resources. Hybrid approaches allow project managers to align the project schedule and goals with the chosen methodology. For projects with well-defined goals and timelines, predictive elements can provide clarity and structure. In contrast, projects with evolving goals or uncertain timelines can benefit from adaptive elements to remain responsive and adaptable, and hybrid project management can accommodate projects with varying time horizons. Short-term projects may emphasize agile practices for rapid development and delivery. Long-term projects may utilize predictive elements for thorough planning and risk management. The choice between short-term and long-term focus should align with the project's objectives and constraints. Tailoring the hybrid methodology to these factors ensures that it aligns effectively with the unique requirements of each project. And finally, implementing a hybrid project management approach involves several key steps. First, you begin by clearly defining the project's objectives, the scope, and requirements. Identify the key stakeholders and their expectations. This step sets the foundation for understanding the project's needs and helps determine which aspects of the hybrid approach will be most effective. Now, once you have a clear project definition, you need to create a process roadmap that outlines how you will manage the project. In a hybrid approach, this roadmap should incorporate both predictive and adaptive elements. You should define project milestones, deliverables, and the overall project plan, while also considering iterative development, feedback loops, and agile practices. Next, you need to regularly review the project's progress and performance against that roadmap. This involves monitoring key metrics, assessing risks, and evaluating whether the chosen hybrid elements are effectively addressing the project's evolving needs. Continuous feedback and progress reviews help to maintain project alignment and identify areas for improvement. And lastly, based on the insights that are gathered during the review process, be prepared to make adjustments to the project plan and methodology as needed. This flexibility is a hallmark of the hybrid approach. It allows you to adapt to changing circumstances, refine your approach, and ensure that the project remains on track and aligned with its objectives. Now, this iterative and adaptive approach helps to optimize project outcomes in dynamic environments. Section 11, Video, Project-Inspired Change. Embracing change through well-managed projects ensures competitiveness, growth, and resilience in today's rapidly evolving business landscape. They enable companies to adapt, innovate, and evolve by executing strategic initiatives, implementing new processes, and achieving goals in dynamic environments. In this topic, we're going to discuss how projects can be used as a vehicle for change in organizations. Projects play a pivotal role in facilitating change within organizations. First and foremost, they encompass the practical work required to make change happen. Projects are the structured endeavors that bring about new processes, technologies, or strategies. Plus, projects aid in the transition from the current state to the desired future state. They serve as a roadmap outlining the steps, timelines, and resources needed to navigate this transformation. Importantly, projects also help people move through the change. Effective project management includes change management strategies that address the human aspect of change, ensuring that employees understand, accept, and adapt to new ways of working. This holistic approach to change makes projects a linchpin in an organization's ability to evolve and thrive. Technology projects serve as vehicles for organizational change in lots of different ways. First, technology projects often involve the adoption of digital tools and processes. They enable organizations to modernize operations, streamline workflows, and enhance efficiency. This digital transformation leads to significant organizational change by reshaping how work is done and how data is utilized. AI projects introduce intelligence and automation into various aspects of an organization. They can revolutionize decision making. They can revolutionize customer service and even data analysis. Implementing AI requires not only technological changes, but also shifts in how employees interact with AI systems, driving organizational change. Virtual reality and augmented reality projects introduce immersive experiences into training, design, and customer engagement. VR and AR technologies change the way people interact with digital content, promoting innovation and altering job roles. This shift in the way employees engage with technology is a significant driver of organizational change. By understanding and addressing people factors in change, project managers can increase the likelihood of successful project outcomes and minimize disruptions to the organization. First, resistance to change is a common human reaction. When projects introduce new processes, technologies, or ways of working, people might fear the unknown or simply be comfortable with existing methods, or even worry about their ability to adapt. To address resistance, project managers should engage in effective change management. This involves clear communication, addressing concerns involving stakeholders in decision making, and providing support in training to ease the transition. Acknowledging and addressing resistance can significantly reduce its negative impact on the project's success. Not everyone in an organization will embrace change at the same time. Individuals have varying levels of comfort with new technologies and processes. To accommodate this diversity, project managers should consider the concept of diffusion of innovations. This theory suggests that people can be categorized into different groups based on their readiness to adopt change. For example, innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. Understanding these differences allows project teams to tailor their communication and training efforts to suit the preferences and needs of the various groups, thereby facilitating smoother and more widespread adoption of project-driven changes. And finally, projects play a pivotal role in bringing positive improvements to organizations in several key ways. First, projects allow organizations to allocate their resources like time, money, and people more effectively and more efficiently. Basically, by focusing resources on specific project objectives, organizations can achieve tangible results while minimizing waste. And this optimization enhances overall operational efficiency and cost effectiveness, ultimately benefiting the bottom line. Projects are often initiated to fulfill strategic objectives too. They provide a structured approach for organizations to pursue their long-term goals. In fact, by breaking down larger strategies into manageable project components, organizations can make steady progress towards achieving their vision. And projects act as vehicles for strategic execution, ensuring that goals are met in a coordinated and organized manner. And lastly, projects can influence an organization's culture positively. They encourage collaboration, innovation, and a results-driven mindset. Successful projects lead to a culture of achievement and continuous improvement. Additionally, by involving employees and project teams, organizations empower their workforce, promoting a sense of ownership and engagement that can permeate the entire organization's culture. At the end of the day, projects are instrumental in driving positive change and helping organizations thrive in a dynamic business environment. Section 12, Video, Course Summary. So in this course, we've examined fundamental terms and characteristics of projects, and we did this by exploring key terms in project management and key characteristics of projects, programs, and portfolios, projects versus operations, predictive, and adaptive project management, and their differences, and hybrid project management and project-inspired change. In our next course, we'll move on to explore the functions of projects. End course.